Okay. Hi skiers, I'm Jeff from SkiEssentials.com.
I'm Bob. How's it going?
Bob and I are here again to do another 2020 ski review. This is one that you guys have been asking for. This is the powder ski review. Bob, what's the narrowest ski up here?
This one, 110.
110. Let's just take a moment to look how small the Enforcer 110 looks among this grouping of skis. So this is going to be a fun one. We put this wall together a few days ago, and every time I walk into this room and look at it, I'm just like, that's ridiculous. Like, this is a ridiculous selection of skis. But it's going to be really fun to talk about, I think. So, not going to see as much skiing footage in this comparison, unfortunately. It's sometimes tough to get footage of these skis. You know, it's really kind of almost pointless to, like, take groomer footage of these skis, which is often what we're doing when we're out filming. It's much more challenging to like set up a bunch of powder shots and stuff like that. And usually when it's a powder day, we're all gung ho and we want to go skiing, and we're really not doing much filming. But that said, hopefully you still find it enjoyable and useful and interesting. And we'll just kick it off over here with the Armada Magic J. This ski is ridiculous, and I'm probably going to say that about every ski in this comparison. But Bob, I believe you said this is the widest ski up here?
In this length, yes.
Okay,
190.
cool.
Yep.
127 underfoot, I believe, is what it came out to. So huge waist width in this ski. And I think another thing that really stands out about this ski is the tip and tail rocker. It's almost symmetrical tip and tail rocker. And this ski, you know, it's maybe not technically, but it's pretty much Tanner Hall's pro model.
Yeah.
And if you think about the way that Tanner Hall skis, he's known for, especially these days, he's known for his backcountry skiing more than anything else. So, you know, if you want to like hit a backcountry jump and do a switch double rodeo 900, this is a great choice.
Yep.
And I think that's just a good way to think about this ski. It's really designed for backcountry freestyle.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of a vertical sidewall. It's actually kind of like a hybrid construction underfoot,
yeah.
So a little bit of cap construction that ends in a vertical sidewall, then it's cap construction through the tips and tails. So with the cap construction and the tips and tails and all that rocker and all that taper, you get like really good butterability out of these tips. You get nice soft flex in the tip and an easy torsional stiffness too in the tips and tails.
Yeah.
So that's where you get that super smeary, super playful feel. But you know, I think, and it's basically just a wood core in here, and then they use what they call laminate matrix.
Right.
But it's a fairly straightforward construction, which we'll see in some other skis up here. Sometimes when you have a ski this big, you don't need, like, crazy materials. The shape is what's providing most of the performance. But definitely one of the most symmetrical skis up here. We'll take a fairly centered mount point. You don't want to mount it, like, true center. I don't think most powder skis aren't that fun when you mount true center. But yeah, backcountry freestyle, this thing rips, and you know, you can watch Tanner Hall's movie and you'll see him doing some stuff on these skis.
Yeah, I like the wheelies and the butters and
exactly
how they do those spin arounds now, and that's a lot to do with the shape and the profile of the skis.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what those tricks are called, but it's pretty cool what these guys are doing on this, just keeping their skis in the snow these days.
Yeah, like wheelies.
Yeah.
You know, I think
that was never a thing for us. For me,
no, I think even like just a couple years ago, if you saw somebody do that, you would just be like, "Why is that dude like way in the back seat?"
Right.
But now you'll see people even like sometimes landing tricks with a little bit of a like backseat kind of like powerful motion on the landing.
And that's the ski for that.
Yep, absolutely. Couldn't really be any more different with the next ski here.
This Blizzard Bodacious is, I would say, the polar opposite in every way, shape, or form. This is a huge ski. It is built just like the rest of their bull lineup, so you know, it's very similar to just a wider Bonafide, basically.
Yeah.
Wood core, 2 sheets of metal. This thing is burly and stiff.
Pretty much flat.
And pretty, yeah.
It's like full rocker, but
it's full rocker, but it's very flat in the profile. Flat tail. I mean, just dead straight flat.
Yeah.
You know, no taper, no
30-something meter turn radius.
Yeah, and you know, it's just built to go straight. So 31 meters on this length, which is, I think, the 196. And, you know, I'm 6'2", and this thing's pretty tall. I would say this is one of the most one-dimensional skis that we have.
For sure.
It's going to ski like it's shaped. It's going to go straight. And it's going to go fast. It's very stiff. You know, you saw Jeff bend that Magic J. This is, again, just the opposite. You know,
it's
very
not a smeary, slarvy
not
ski
a
by
smeary
any
ski.
means. Which makes sense when we talk about the next two skis.
Right. But that metal makes sense for its application. So, like, you know, wind-affected snow or, you know, anything other than champagne light dry powder.
Yeah.
You know, your bigger, more aggressive skier is going to take advantage of this.
Yeah.
Not for short turns or.
No, it's a big mountain, hard
mountain,
charger. Yeah. You're looking at a 2,000 vertical foot face in the backcountry, and you're thinking to yourself, can I make just 3 turns down that? That's basically, and I'm not exaggerating at all. It's like an Alaska ski if you want to ski fast and hard and aggressive.
And there's a tool for that, and that's the one.
It's ridiculous too.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna keep saying that. This is the Spur likes to fall over, which we'll talk about as we get to it. So Bob, why don't you hold on to the Spur because we're gonna talk about that one next. This is the Blizzard Rustler 11. So we actually have 3 Blizzard skis in this comparison, which I think is fun. A couple from Nordica too, but there's much more variety in these Blizzard skis.
Yeah.
This is the Rustler 11. We talk about the Rustler collection a lot, whether it's the 9 or the 10 or this, the 11, the widest ski. If you've watched our other comparisons and you understand the construction of the Rustler 9 and the Rustler 10, same thing applied here. Unidirectional carbon in the tips, partial metal laminate underfoot that tapers as it reaches the tips and tails. So kind of what we were saying about the Magic J and that the tips and tails are designed to be less torsionally stiff and more softer flexing than the rest of the ski. The same is true here. I think they kind of take it to the next level with the metal underfoot in terms of edge grip and stability and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think something that's really interesting, and we were chatting with Blizzard actually yesterday about this, which was great because it was right before we did this comparison. You know, we got the Bodacious over there, we got the Spur over there now. Even with those 2 options, the Blizzard Freeride World Tour guys, they choose this ski.
Yeah.
So I think there's something to be said about that. It's a little easier going, a little bit more well-rounded than the Bodacious or the Spur, where those skis are really segmented to do specific things. This is just a well-rounded powder ski.
Yeah.
Resort skiing, I think this is going to be great. I think you'll hear Bob and I say it. Some of these skis we think are appropriate as resort powder skis.
Yeah.
Some of them are really starting to feel more like backcountry specific tools.
Cat skiing, heli skiing.
Yeah, heli skiing, cat skiing, exactly. Skinning, all that kind of stuff. This is one, mountain alpine binding on it, ski it at your local resort. It's going to be a lot of fun. What's nice about this ski, and we talk about the Rustlers a lot, you get good edge grip underfoot, softer flexing tips and tails, good playful feel, but still that Blizzard Austrian stability underfoot. And if you think about those Freeride World Tour guys, like a lot of the time the snow is soft, but then maybe they'll be like traversing at high speeds and they'll come across some like wind buffed or scoured snow and they need that edge grip underfoot for stability. Mm-hmm. If they were on something like the Spur, they would just be like washing around.
Right.
So great ski, very well rounded.
Yeah.
Good choice as a resort powder ski for sure. And I love the new orange color.
Yep, and new top sheets too this year, they were saying yesterday.
Yep. Yeah, scratch resistant top sheets, which for a ski that you're going to be kind of banging around on a powder day is really nice to have.
And the reason the Spur keeps falling over is it's one of 2 asymmetrical skis on the wall. The tail doesn't sit flat on the floor, so it falls over.
Yeah.
So the other ski is the opposite of this. I'll try to have it stand up here for just a sec. But
go get it.
Right.
You keep talking.
So the reason behind this being asymmetrical is to create more of a rounded or oval or snowboard or surfboard shape. So when you look at them together, they make that cohesive shape.
Yep.
And that leads to that surfy feeling.
Super surfy.
Yeah, this ski more than anything else on our wall is going to feel that way. So if you think about it, this lower side of the tip isn't really going to be engaging with the snow as much. And so when that's on your uphill ski, it is going to ride smoothly and it won't catch. It gives a very smooth and hook-free feeling.
Lets you drift in soft snow.
This is a 192. It's the only length they make in this ski, so that's unfortunate if you like the looks of it and you're smaller.
Yeah, but if you need something shorter, well,
right.
Too bad.
124 underfoot, and it has a 26 to 30 meter radius. So this thing's going fast and straight.
Yep. But with a different feel than the Bodacious.
Definitely.
Like you can go fast and straight on this, and then just like kick the tail edge out.
Yeah.
Like remember when Shane McConkey like side slipped that spine?
Right,
like,
sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like literally like side slipped a spine. This is a ski that you could do something like that on.
Yeah.
Where the Bodacious, if you tried to do that, you would just be like, ja, 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 ja.
So pretty. It's not a twin tip, but has pretty good tail rocker to it. And that tail shape follows through. It's built similar to the Rustler 11. It has this DRT partial metal laminate underfoot. It also has these raised ridges on the sides, and that's going to give you more edge grip and just more control, not going to be as floppy.
Yeah, and you were talking about yesterday, like, given the application and intended use of this ski, it's kind of nice to have if you happen to come down on a slightly buried rock when you're dropping a cliff in the backcountry and you don't see something slightly buried, less chance you're going to blow out a sidewall with that extra mass along the edge there.
So, the Spur is a really unique ski, obviously an interesting shape, and for, anything, for any depth snow, this thing is going to stay right on top and be probably one of the smoother skis that we have here.
Yep.
So, really cool option from Blizzard. And a good way to round out their 3 very different powder skis, which is interesting that they make so many different ones.
Yeah, a lot of options from Blizzard, and we're going to try and hope that Rustler 11 holds this thing up if we let it sit there, which it's been doing a pretty good job of. Next, we got the DPS Wailer 112 RP. We've talked about the Wailer 100 quite a bit over the past year. We did a full review of the Wailer 100 last season. We had it in our ski test. We've had the Wailer 100 in comparison videos and articles too. Basically, everything we said about that ski you can apply to this ski, including the 15-meter turn radius. So this is definitely going to be one of the shorter turn radius among skis on this wall, and that's the idea behind DPS RP shape skis, is they're all going to have a 15-meter turn radius. So to me, we talked about resort use. I think this is another one that could be a great resort ski. Also another one, or a good option as a touring ski.
Yeah, it's pretty light.
Yeah, so this is DPS Alchemist construction, which results in a pretty lightweight ski. It's aerospace grade carbon fiber. It's got better vibration damping, better stability, less like deflection than we see in a lot of skis with carbon. But this ski is still, I would say its highlight is its quickness.
Yeah.
You definitely get really good float out of this tip shape, but you also get easy tail release. There's a good amount of early taper in the tail, good amount of tail rocker too, and then that tip and tail shape combined with a 15-meter underfoot turn radius, you can turn this thing on a dime.
Yeah.
So if your version of powder skiing involves like a lot of tight terrain, like maybe you're here in Stowe and you really want like a dedicated powder ski for skiing the notch, I feel like this is a great choice because you can really wiggle through tree lines on it. I think you get impressive stability when you open up the speed, given the light weight, but it's not going to feel the same as like a Bodacious or some of the other skis that we're going to talk about later. It doesn't have quite the tip to tail stability, which I think comes from the shape and some of that lightweight feel as well. But super quick.
Yeah, it's over half the turn radius of the Bodacious. So it's going to make over twice as short turns.
Right. So that same you're looking at that face in Alaska, the 2,000 vertical foot face. You're probably going to make about 100 turns down it on this, where the Bodacious, you could make like 3.
Yeah.
But great ski. I think it sets itself apart from a lot of things in this category, which is just nice to have.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice to have options.
Another good choice for that resort outer ski.
Yeah, especially if you don't feel like you need like a heavy, stiff, crazy, fast ski. Really good one, which I think is, you could say similar things about this.
Right, and the next one as well.
Yep.
Elan Ripstick 116, so we've done the 88, the 96, the 106 in our comparisons.
The 96 black in there.
96 black, so this is the 116, it's the widest in their line. It follows suit with their construction with the rest of the Ripsticks, which is the wood core and the tube light technology.
Yep.
So 2 carbon tubes that run the length of the ski on the edge.
Yeah, those carbon tubes are really cool.
Yep, they definitely make a lot of sense especially for this type of application. Ends up being one of the lightest skis here, but still has some good snap to it.
Yeah, which is like consistent with Ripsticks.
Right.
They're all pretty light, but they've got really good rebound.
Yeah.
Really good energy and rebound.
If you picked up any of these Ripsticks, they just feel the same.
Yep.
They flex the same. They're very consistent.
Yep.
Pretty good tail rocker shape to this, but it's flattened off, so that's going to give you some good response out of the turn.
Yep.
We've got a skin notch here too.
I think a great choice.
I would say this would be a great touring ski. But overall, this is just a great light option. It's going to make, very consistent turns. I would say when the snow gets choppy is where this thing might lose a little bit, but
yeah, sure. If you're skiing really fast through choppy snow, yes, I can agree with that.
And then this is the other asymmetrical ski on our wall. So there's a left and a right. They adjust the rocker profile and the tips so that there's more rocker on the uphill edge and more camber on the downhill edge, depending on what foot it's on, obviously.
Yep. Similar concept to that Spur, just they do it with the shape of the ski.
Right.
Here they're changing the profile of the ski.
Right, so this is a left, and it's actually hard to tell just by looking at it which one is which.
Yeah.
But
you can feel it.
You can feel it, and and that has the same effect as the Spur, where it makes that uphill ski smooth. It doesn't catch.
Yeah.
So it's a much more floaty and surfy feeling, even for a ski that has this type of flex to it.
Yeah.
So really energetic. For such a wide ski, which is nice to see.
Yeah, just fun, playful.
Fun. That's what we hear from Elan this year.
Yep. Yeah, we've talked about that a lot in the past couple months. The superlative that they're chasing is most fun.
Yeah.
Which is kind of just a refreshing concept. Next is the Mindbender 116C. We've talked about quite a lot of Mindbender skis so far. We haven't talked a lot about the carbon-based Mindbender skis. So this does not use metal. If you remember what we were saying about the 90 and the 99 or even the 108, all those skis have metal. Similar story with this ski, but they do it in a different way. So first I'll say this is much lighter. It's actually, if you picked up a Mindbender 108 and then picked up this, it's like way lighter.
Yeah.
So dropping all that metal out of the ski really, really helps just shed a bunch of weight. But they're achieving similar things through carbon. So if you remember with the metal skis, they used that Y-beam. So it was metal along the edges and the forebody of the ski, and then metal through the middle and the tail. So trying to custom tune the amount of torsional stiffness in the ski, like good edge grip up here, and then a washier, easier tail release. They do the same thing, but they do it with a carbon weave on this ski. So you might not be able to see it on the video, but there's crisscrossing carbon through the ski, and essentially it's a pretty tight weave in the tip, so you get good torsional stiffness in the tip, and then that weave, as you go through the rest of the ski, it lengthens. So it's essentially like you're looking at a bunch of little diamonds, and up here the diamonds are, I'd say pretty much symmetrical, smaller, closer together, and then as you get down here, those diamonds lengthen, and there are much less of them. So basically what that's doing is as the carbon goes to the tail of the ski, it's becoming more longitudinal and less less diagonal,
Yeah.
which is essentially shedding torsional stiffness out of the tail of the ski. So really cool concept. I like what K2 is doing. I like the shape of this ski too. It doesn't have like a ton of early taper like we see in some, so you're gonna get really, really good float out of these tips and tails. You're gonna be able to like really push and smear and slash turns on this ski really well. It's very playful and fun. I think K2 is another company like Elan that they're really just chasing that fun factor.
Yeah.
Great ski. I'm really looking forward to actually skiing this more this coming year.
Yeah.
I was able to get on it. I know you skied some of the carbon Mindbender skis too. I'm really looking forward to putting those to the test more. But I really like the ski, and I think it's, like we said about the last two skis and that Rustler 11, really good resort powder ski choice. And I don't normally say one ski is better than another, and I'm not going to here either, but that's my favorite top sheet. Like,
that's a good looking ski.
On the wall, and maybe even like of any ski this year. I just love the orange with the camo hit on the tail.
Yeah.
It's very clean. There's not a ton of extra stuff going on with that graphic.
Yeah.
Just a really, really fun, great powder ski, great graphic.
Another good touring option too, because it's
Yep.
so light.
Yeah, it's impressively light. And there's enough of a flat spot on the tail that it'd be pretty easy to attach a skin back there.
Yeah. So Line has been known for kind of more freestyle skis over the years. They've done a good job this year with their more resort-oriented on-trail skis.
They've also been known as a company that kind of thinks outside the box.
I would say that this is probably the best example of that. This is the Pescado.
Yep.
This comes in a 180, which is an interesting size for a powder ski. Normally I wouldn't ski on a 180, but given the overall shape of the ski, it would still work for someone my size. So this thing's pretty huge. It definitely has the widest tip on our wall, not the widest waist. That was still the Armada.
But it's close. It's like 125.
Close. Yeah, it's within 2 millimeters. And the defining characteristic of this shape is this swallowtail.
Yep.
So this is borrowing technology from like a fish shape. We see it in snowboards now, and especially with the back foot on a snowboard is mounted farther back, and that gives you much better pivoting.
Yep.
You're getting your weight in the back, you're kicking the front of the board up. This basically is slightly smaller than an alpine snowboard. So,
yeah, only slightly.
This is going to be your real fresh snow floater. That tip is going to stay right on top of everything. 158 millimeters across the tip. So it's huge.
Yeah.
And the tail is going to disperse snow. So it lets it flow through, and that leads to a more smooth feeling.
And like you're saying, it lets the tail sink a little bit more.
Lets the tail sink. And these things are actually they're pretty burly. I wouldn't be scared of taking this on harder snow.
No, they actually you can rip short turns.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting design.
Yeah.
The edge actually follows it all the way around, so there is metal all the way through.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that. But for the most part, you're keeping this thing in fresh, deep snow. Japan, Alta, places where you're dealing with feet.
Yeah, there's a narrower version of the ski, the Sakana, if you want more well-rounded use. But yeah, this thing's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Eric Pollard was kind of the driving force in developing this ski. Eric Pollard has come out with some really cool, innovative ski designs over his skiing career. And at this point, now that he's a little bit older, he still has a very playful mentality, but he wants to play around with turn shape more than anything else. So this thing will carve short turns through deep powder.
I mean, it's got a 19-meter radius.
Yeah.
And it's pretty light, for compared to the rest of these skis. I don't know if you could really put a skin attachment on the back, but I don't know.
I'm sure someone has.
Someone has, I'm sure.
Yep.
But overall, this is just it's probably the most unique looking ski on the wall here. Very interesting technology going into this thing.
Short, quick turns. You can play around with turn shapes on it in deep, the deepest snow you can imagine.
Yeah, you're not sinking this
which is unique among this category. Just its ability to make different turns and It's like a really playful ski that likes to stay on the snow,
Yeah.
as opposed to a playful ski in the sense that it likes to like hop and jump around.
Yeah. But really
you know.
really cool thing from Line.
Totally. Yeah. Enforcer 110. It's like the most normal ski up here, which is crazy.
Looks like a competition mogul ski.
Yeah. No, when we were looking at
Rest of
this lineup, you know, to me it looks like a park skier
Yeah.
basically when you're looking at when it's next to a ski that's 125 underfoot. But we've talked about this ski a lot. We've done full reviews of this ski. This is classic Enforcer shape, classic Enforcer construction, classic Enforcer performance. The free models, so the 104, the 110, and the 115, they use lighter weight wood core than the 88, the 93, and the 100. So you get slightly softer flex pattern out of these skis. A little bit lighter weight than it would be if you used that denser wood. Still 2 sheets of metal.
Yeah.
It is that thinner metal that Nordica's been known to use, but still 2 sheets. So this isn't light. If you held it next to like the Mindbender C, this is way heavier.
Yeah.
So it's going to be also heavier than the Ripstick. It's going to be heavier than the Wailer. There's a lot of skis that this is going to be heavier than.
Mm-hmm.
It's not tremendously heavy in that when you ski it, it feels like outrageously tiring.
No, it's not cumbersome at all. It's
No,
pretty lively.
and I give a lot of that credit to the snappy feel that they give this ski and the pretty easy tail release out of the tail. I think this is a really, really well-rounded resort powder ski.
Yeah.
I even know some skiers out west that use this as their daily driver ski because it's got that Enforcer feel on firm snow. So you can still even if it's a groomer day, you can still like carve turns on this. And
Yeah.
It's not exceptionally quick edge to edge, but it actually links nice round carving turns really well. Also stays nice and stable through choppy conditions. It doesn't have like the longest turn radius, 18.5 in this 185. So especially if we looked at those skis in like the 30 range, like you're not going to be making massive turns on this. But I've skied this ski quite a lot, and you can ski it pretty fast and pretty hard and pretty aggressively, and it doesn't feel unstable or unwilling to do so. But then it's also fairly quick in the trees too. Not as quick as some other skis that are lighter, but pretty darn quick.
And if you like if you've been on another Enforcer and liked it, and are looking for that wider ski, then then you know what you're getting into. It's not going to be surprising.
Yep, fans of the Enforcer. Yeah, I mean that's becoming a thing. We have a lot of customers that even call us and say like, "Hey, I just really like the Enforcers, and I want a ski to complement my 93s or 88s or whatever." That's a great choice.
And then on the bigger end is the 115. So this used to be the Pro.
Yep.
Same ski, just renamed.
Only available in one length.
Yep. So this is the 191. And the biggest difference between this and the 110 is that it's got a thicker balsa wood core.
Yep.
So other than that, we're still dealing with the 2 sheets of metal. We're dealing with a similar rocker profile.
Definitely.
That tail's pretty nice. That's going to release pretty easily.
Yeah. That core thickness definitely beefs it up, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, it's got some weight to it.
Yeah.
A stiffer flex because of that core thickness, but still retains kind of that same Enforcer feel. Little bit longer in the turn radius, 21.5, they're saying. So, not gargantuan like the Bodacious, but still, you're going to be able to open it up more.
Yep.
So big mountain stuff is what this thing's for.
Yep.
And it does it extremely well. Again, if you like that Enforcer feel, the wood core, 2 sheets of metal, but you're looking for a wider, I wouldn't call it the most playful, but it definitely can be used in that application.
Yeah, and I'd say among skis with this much power, it's probably one of the more playful skis.
Yeah. But that's the 115, and if you were familiar with the Pro, it's the same ski.
Yeah, I think I'll use myself as an example. I'm pretty lightweight, usually hover somewhere in the 150 to 160 pound range. When these skis first came out, which was a couple of years ago now, we tested the 110 and then the Pro back to back. I think it was even the exact same length. And just with my weight, I wasn't able to flex the 115 or what was then the Pro as easily as I can flex the 110. I still had a lot of fun skiing it, but it was more of like a, not planky, but like just stable, like solid platform that you just stand on instead of getting it to like make different turn shapes and stuff like that.
I'd imagine as the skier weight goes down, the planky feeling would go up.
That's kind of what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, a skier around my weight, there's a 191 Enforcer 110 too. Yeah. So even if you want the longer length, you don't necessarily have to go 115. That's really should be saved for the heavier skiers or just somebody who's really aggressive and skiing around really fast.
Yeah.
Like if I was competing in a big mountain competition, maybe I'd consider it, depending on the venue, I guess.
You'd be going fast.
I would be going fast. This is the Rossignol Black Ops 118.
Yeah.
Great ski here. I think, you know, this is a good one to transition to from the Enforcers because I think a lot of that feel and versatility carries over to this ski. They didn't tell us much about this ski for a lot of years. I think we're going to start to see more published information about Black Ops skis down the road. Am I hinting to something? Only time will tell. But really cool ski here. There's some metal underfoot. It's actually, you know, it's another one that you're not going to describe the ski necessarily as light.
Right.
So some metal underfoot, and they actually use rubber in the tips and tails. So that metal doesn't extend through the ends of the ski, but there is some rubber up in the tips and the tails. Rubber is a really cool material for skis because it basically takes the vibration damping and the smooth feel from the metal and extends it through the tips and tails without having the weight. Rubber is not necessarily light, but I think it's a little lighter than metal, and it gives the tips and tails a little softer flex up there. So in my mind, and I think it's a good way to think about this ski, it's kind of taking a ski like the Enforcer 115 and the power and the stability and the vibration damping of that ski and combining it with the playfulness of like a Magic J. Like this was Chris Logan and Parker White, two longtime Rossignol athletes. They both helped develop this ski quite a while back. Now, not a long time, but 4 or 5 years ago, I think, at least.
Yeah, they're not that old.
No. But they helped develop the ski, and those guys both have like a freestyle background, but now they pretty much predominantly ski backcountry, side country, stuff like that. So they're still hitting jumps and doing tricks, but they're doing it deep in the backcountry, and that's a good way to think about this ski. But it's also smeary and playful and versatile as a resort ski. It's definitely getting up there in width.
Yeah.
So you want to question like whether you need this much width as your powder ski, depending on where you live. You know, that's basically what that question comes down to. If you live in Alyeska and you get like, I don't know, what do they get, 700 inches of annual snowfall?
Yeah, a lot.
This kind of width is justifiable easily. Here in Stowe, we get like 330 inches a year. Could you choose this as your powder ski? Of course, but you want to think about whether 118 is right for you. But really, really fun ski. I have a lot of fun skiing the Black Ops in general. I just love the combination of playfulness and stability.
And I would put this up against the Magic J, the Armada, in terms of, you know, its playful shape. And
butterability.
That twin tip. Twin tip style.
Definitely one of the more symmetrical skis up here.
Yeah. This is another Rossignol Super 7. This is the HD version. They also make an RD version, which is bigger and wider.
Yeah, RD essentially stands for race department.
Right. So this follows the 7 line up. So we've done the Soul and what's the other? The Sky, yeah.
I often want to call it the Sin.
It's the Sin. I call it the Sin.
Yep.
So this is the Super, and this is the widest one. All they're basically doing is increasing the width, making that rocker a little bit more pronounced, both tip and tail. You know, it's got that tapered, really kind of deep tapered 5-point side cut shape that the rest of these 7s are known for.
Yep.
That tip is, you know, it's pretty spoony shaped, so when you're in the soft snow, this thing is just gonna pop right up on top. That side cut, the 5-point side cut does make it for a shorter turning radius ski.
Yep.
So you're gonna, like, I like to think about it like it's gonna bounce.
Yep.
You know, when you're in that deep snow.
It likes making those shorter turns.
Right.
Yeah.
And it also has that a little bit more camber underfoot. So that's going to give it that, you know, that poppy feeling. You're not just going to stay on top and surf around. Like, you can feel the ski, and with the rest of the 7s too, they have that feeling where they just want to pop up and pop you into the next turn. So I think this is a really good option for, you know, that resort powder ski.
Definitely.
And follow suit with that other Rossignol stuff. So, you know, like we said with the Nordicas, with the Enforcers, if you've been skiing on those Rossies for a while and like that feel and like that shape, this is that wider option.
Yep.
So, you know, wood core with their carbon alloy matrix, just like the rest of them, gives it that really nice feel. But very light in the tips and tails, so that's going to give you good flotation and really good initiation and a fun exit to the turn.
Yep. And a great compliment to that Black Ops. You know,
Yeah,
if a company's going to have like multiple skis in that really wide range, they better differentiate them. Like Blizzard did a great job of that, like we talked about before. I think Rossignol is also doing a great job of that. Yeah. This is like way more directional. It doesn't have the same symmetrical like freestyle influence as the Black Ops. It's also lighter and like quicker. Yeah. Less swing weight. So they're really doing a good job differentiating those skis and providing different options for different skiers. Right. Which I think is key.
And soft, you know, so if you're looking if you don't weigh that much, or if you're looking to stay, you know, on top of the snow and get some good float, this is a great option.
Yep. This is the Salomon QST 118. I did a full review of this ski a couple years ago. It hasn't really changed since then.
It must have been the first year it came out, or pretty close.
First or second.
Yeah.
I skied the longest length, which is up in the 190 range. Yeah. This is much shorter. I think this is a 170, 178. This is actually the shortest length we have up on this wall for this comparison. This ski is, like, these are all powder skis. But there's something about this ski that really feels like a powder ski. I was lucky enough to ski it on a really great day at Stowe. I think it must have been a weekday because there weren't that many people in the notch. So I got like multiple kind of first track notch runs. Yeah. And this ski, I'll admit I was like intimidated by it at first because it was a 190 something powder ski, and it's not light.
Yeah.
It's not tremendously heavy either, but when in that 190 plus length, I was like...
That's pretty long.
Yeah, I was kind of like, this is going to be a handful, especially in tight Vermont trees. And I found that this camber rocker profile makes the ski so maneuverable. Mm-hmm. So there's quite a bit of tail rocker, and it's like pretty pronounced. It's like right there on the ski, it just starts rising. Yeah. So like right there... From there back, it gives you good tail sink in soft snow. And a lot of ski companies talk about that tail sink and talk about the benefits of it. And this was one of the first skis where I really felt it. Yeah. And I could notice, like, you know, I don't recommend looking down at your skis while you're skiing, but I could see it. Like, the tips of the skis really wanted to stay on top. We've talked about Salomon QST skis a lot, and just their overall... They're really like well-rounded. Yeah. They have a great blend of characteristics. This didn't get all the updates that the 106 and 99 and some of the other QSTs got. They basically tried to keep the tips and tails a little lighter. So as we've talked about with other QSTs, they made the ski a little heavier. This is still pretty light, especially light swing weight, and tremendous float out of the ski. At 118 with that rocker, it's just... It's a dream when it comes to the amount of float and just its smooth powder performance. Great touring option too. Throw a Salomon shift on there. I don't think you're going to really want to ski it too much on groomers.
No, but I mean, that's not what we're here for.
That's not the intention of that ski at all.
Another note on this is the 24-meter radius, which at a 178 is pretty long. Yeah. Not sure if it shows up, but it's pretty straight tip to tail. not a whole lot of side cut to this ski.
Yep.
So-
But that's its ability to release its tail edge.
Right.
That's where the quickness comes from. You're not going to lay it over on the edge and like
Yeah.
carve a quick turn, but it's smearing, pivoting, slashing turns. You can maneuver it pretty easily.
And same thing with the tip in that rocker. It
Yeah.
really, it just starts
Yep.
and then goes up.
Yep.
But you
It
can
stays
also
flat.
It stays flat.
Yeah.
So in the write up, you talked about how it skims.
Yep.
Right along the top. It's
It
not
planes really
it
well.
planes really well. So that's what this. It has a very unique shape and rocker profile.
Yeah, like if we were to compare it to the rocker profile of this, it's much more splay.
Yeah.
This stays lower
Low.
to the snow.
Yeah. But that's a pretty cool option, and I like that they've kept it the same.
Yeah.
Over the years, because
It makes sense.
There's no need to add that extra material if
No, because you're just in powder.
it's already working.
Yeah. And like that, we've talked about the improved tip and tail feel on the QST 99
Right.
and 106, but that's really for firm snow.
Right.
Like if you're just ripping powder runs all
Right.
day, you don't need
You'll never feel it.
Yeah.
So might as well leave it.
And you'll
out.
just be like smiling the whole time. Like
Right.
no one thinks
Right.
about anything on powder day.
Volkl Confession, we're going to end it here. This is a couple years old. It's unchanged for 2020, and that's a good thing. This ski came about because Volkl's older competitive, athlete-driven powder skis were fully rockered,
Yep.
and
Yeah, those guys wanted camber.
they wanted some camber underfoot for variable snow
Kind of
conditions.
like what we were saying about the Rustler 11.
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
having, for a big mountain athlete, having that camber underfoot and some edge grip is really valuable. Otherwise, you're just like, it's like Bambi on ice.
Right. So you're going to get good edge grip out of this ski. I skied it in spring conditions.
Yeah,
and
that was a fun day.
was actually pretty impressed with how it handled that stuff.
Yeah.
And so, Volkl uses their multi-layer wood core and a Titanal band with this. So the metal goes right through the center of the ski,
Yep.
leaves the edges untouched by the metal, and that gives the ski a more playful feel.
Takes some weight out too. That Titanal
Yeah.
band construction is way lighter than their Titanal frame construction.
Contrasted with the QST 118, this tip shoots up. So that's going to give it a different feel. It's going to make the ski pop up a little bit more. So maybe a little bit more energy versus the smeary
Yeah, definitely.
nature of some of these other skis on the wall.
I don't think the Confession is a particularly smeary ski.
No.
You can get it to do that, but it
Yeah.
feels more precise than drifty and smeary.
Right. Tail rocker as well, but not a particularly turned up tail, minimal splay.
Not much taper.
Not much taper. Pretty, it's a nicely rounded tail.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that it's certainly nothing drastic. Pretty straight on the side cut too. They are posting a 23.8. This is a 186.
Yep.
So pretty straight. You're again not the mid 30s like the Bodacious, but you're going to be very comfortable at speed on this thing in the fresh snow. Another, I would say this is kind of pushing the boundaries of a resort powder ski.
Yeah,
but
I think
still-
if you're skiing it in the resort, you should be a pretty aggressive skier that likes to go fast.
Yeah.
Because that's what the Confession likes to do.
Right.
It likes to go fast.
So it's 117 underfoot. So that's again getting up there towards the top in terms of
Yeah.
ski width, especially for this comparison.
Yeah.
Um,
And Volkl, going back to just its overall performance, they have that Revolt 121,
right.
which is what ski could we compare it to? It's kind of like a
I'd say
QST
it's-
118, or
yeah.
it's way more rockered,
Yeah.
softer flexing than a Confession, so it kind of doubles down on
Yeah.
the point of the Confession and its intended use.
Yeah. But overall, another good comparison, if you're, a mantra skier or a kendo skier and
Sure.
looking for that big ski,
Yeah,
it has the band, not the frame for the metal,
but a similar feel.
but a similar feel and performance. So Volkl fans who are looking for that wider ski will probably really like the Confession.
Yep.
Not the lightest, but again, we're talking about high speeds and deep snow and variable snow conditions.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and that type of skier doesn't necessarily want a lightweight ski. In
Right.
fact, there have been scenarios in the past where a company makes a lightweight ski and then an athlete says, "Can you make it heavier, please?" That does happen, as counterintuitive as it might feel
Yeah.
to us more mere mortal skiers. That does happen.
So that's the Confession. Just a wonderful, wonderful big ski.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Bodacious, but like not nearly as crazy.
Right.
It's not as heavy as a Bodacious, but it's kind of got a similar vibe.
Yeah.
Similar intended use, at least. So that's it. That's our 2020 powder ski comparison. I hope you enjoyed it.
That's
I think
fun.
it was a fun one to talk about. It was a fun one to write.
Yeah.
It was different.
Well, it's interesting seeing the differences between these skis that, we basically walked through and picked everything, the widest of everything we had.
Yeah.
And then looked at them and said, wow, there are a lot of differences. You
Yeah.
know, it's not quite as, it's easier, I think, versus, describing the 88s or 90s or 95s where, they're all going to perform, they're all kind of built in a similar way. But these, they have to have something that sets them apart.
Right. Like, we didn't see that kind of variety in the 90 millimeter comparison.
Yeah, not even
Not even close. Like those three skis are so much different than each other. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So Bob and I had a lot of fun doing this comparison. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let us know if you have any questions. I know there are skis up here that we could have included but didn't. We literally couldn't fit anymore on the wall because they're so wide. But yeah, let us know if you have any questions. I'll be at Killington this Saturday. If anybody's going to be at Killington, what's today, the 7th? So that'll be the 9th. Yeah, look for me at Killington on November 9th if you want to take some runs and talk about skis. I've got a purple jacket. Purple jacket and sweet protection goggles and helmet. So yeah, come find me. We'll see you guys on the slopes.
Bye.
Do you think anyone